All right, let's talk about the single most important tool you've got, your mind. Today we're diving into the art of logic, what it is, how it works, and what makes one argument solid and another, well, what makes it just fall apart. Let's get into it. You've been there, right? You're in a discussion, maybe even a heated debate, and you hear something that just feels wrong. You know the argument is weak, but you can't quite explain why. That feeling? That's exactly what logic is all about clearing up. Now, you might hear the word logic and think it's some super complicated academic thing. But here's the secret. You're already using it every single day. You're actually a natural. I mean, look at this. It's a perfect little piece of reasoning that we all do. If A, then B. A happened, so B should happen. Our brains are wired to follow this kind of path. See? You're already doing it. We're just here to put a name on it and maybe understand the rules of the game a little better. So let's go ahead and put that formal name on this skill you already have. Let's figure out what we're really talking about when we say logic. At its heart, logic is just the study of what makes reasoning good. The word itself comes from the Greek logos, which means reason. So you can think of logic as the instruction manual for thinking clearly. It's the toolkit that helps you tell a solid argument from one that's full of holes. I love this way of putting it. I mean, think about it. Philosophers are tackling these huge questions that you can't just test in a lab, like what is justice or do we have free will? So instead of experiments, their main tool is logic. It's the structure that holds the whole conversation up. Without it, everything just collapses. And the guy we really have to thank for writing all these rules down is the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle. He was the first person to really sit down and systematically map out the principles of good reasoning, which is why, he gets the cool title, the father of logic. And this right here is his most famous creation, the syllogism. What's so brilliant about it is that it works like a machine. If you plug in the first two statements, the premises, and they're true, the conclusion isn't just likely, it's guaranteed. It has to be true. That's the real power of a perfect logical structure. Okay, so Aristotle's work really sets the stage for the two main ways we reason, deduction and induction. And understanding the difference between these two is, well, it's everything. So here's the main takeaway. Deduction is top-down. It starts with a big general rule and applies it to a specific situation to get a conclusion that is absolutely certain. Induction, on the other hand, is bottom-up. It looks at a bunch of specific examples and tries to create a general rule from them. But that conclusion, it's only probable, not certain. Let's look at a classic example of deduction. If it's true that all birds have wings, and it's true that a sparrow is a bird, then the conclusion that a sparrow has wings isn't just a good guess, it's a lock. It is 100% certain. That's the power of deductive reasoning. Now compare that with induction. For centuries, this argument seemed perfectly good. Everyone in Europe had only ever seen white swans, but it's based on limited observation. And this is the perfect illustration of its weakness. Just one new piece of information, in this case when explorers found black swans in Australia, can blow the whole conclusion out of the water. Induction gives us probability, not certainty. Okay, so this isn't just some dusty old theory for philosophers. Logic is a practical tool that you see and use all the time, often in really high-stakes situations. Just think about a courtroom. What's happening there? A prosecutor is building a logical chain of evidence, trying to lead to the conclusion, guilty. And the defense attorney, they're trying to find a single weak link in that chain. The entire legal system is basically a big arena where logic is put to the test. It's also absolutely vital for being an informed citizen. When a politician makes a claim or a promise, logic is the tool we use to ask the most important question there is. Okay, do the reasons you just gave me actually support the conclusion you want me to believe? And of course, it matters in your own life. Big decisions like picking a career path or buying a house can be super emotional. Logic is what helps you take a step back, weigh the pros and cons in a structured way, and make a choice based on clear thinking, not just on a gut feeling. But, and this is a really big but, as powerful as logic is, it has one very important limitation. It's not a magic truth-finding machine. It has this one key vulnerability that you have to know about. Take a look at this argument. The structure,
It's perfect. It's exactly the same as our Socrates example. If the first two statements are true, then the conclusion absolutely follows. But we all know the conclusion is ridiculous. So what went wrong here?
And this right here reveals logic's most important secret. Logic only guarantees that your conclusion follows correctly from your starting points. It cannot tell you if those starting points, those premises, are actually true in the real world. As they say in computer programming, garbage in, garbage out. So why does all this matter? Because getting a handle on these simple rules gives you a kind of superpower. It gives you the ability to build your own arguments so they're rock solid, to spot the hidden flaws in things you read and hear, and maybe most importantly, to know the difference between a real, reasoned conclusion and just somebody's loud opinion. Which leaves us with one last thing to chew on. We know a perfect logical structure is essential, but is it enough? If an argument is perfectly logical but starts from a place that's completely false, what is that argument really worth?